And I think he's a guy who, from the sounds of it, probably would have gotten drafted.
North Dakota State, yeah.
North Dakota State, thank you. Yeah, he probably would have got drafted had it not been for a medical issue. But again, he's an undrafted rookie, so I'm not telling you right now that is the move because you're asking either Olu Oluwatimi or Jalen Sundell to essentially be better than Anthony Bradford right now. I'm not saying that would be the case. I'm just saying it's something they would have to consider.
The inability for Anthony Bradford or Christian Haynes to really, either of them to step up and be the guy has been disappointing.
Yeah.
To say the least.
It has been. Yeah. And the other thing there is that is maybe kind of an underrated point here is there have been some snapping issues the last couple games, and it hasn't just been the 3 plays that have ended in disaster where there was the one that went way over Geno's head in the Buffalo game, and then there were the 2 that went more so through Geno's hands. I don't think those 2, I wouldn't put those totally, the 2 last week, I wouldn't put those totally on Connor Williams. The first one looked like it just went right through Geno's hand, and maybe he took his eye off it. The second one, the play clock was winding down. I think Connor Williams realized he had to snap it or else they were going to get a 5-yard penalty for delay of game, and he might have put a lot of zip on it, and Geno might not have been ready for it. But the one before that certainly was his fault against Buffalo the week before. And there were also, I went back and counted, there were 5 snaps that you could say were well off target that Geno Smith had to reach for. And so, even if Geno Smith catches those and the play goes off normally, that still can affect the timing of a quarterback as he's, in a shotgun snap situation like that. So that would, in theory, be another issue that they would thwart. And that's something that Connor Williams had issues with, I believe, in his first year in Miami. He had some snapping issues there. So that, I suppose, could be one more thing that they weigh if that is something they are truly considering doing.
All right, let's get into, we got a couple of texts here. 206 says, goals CJSN continue to prove he's got number 1 wide receiver ability and have the young D linemen consistently show they can pressure the quarterback. That one seems realistic. We did have one from the 253 that said top 10 defense. I don't know if that's realistic. Do you find that one realistic for the second half? Do you think if you're just judging the second half, they could be a top 10 defense?
Oh, yeah. If you take away the first 9 games, yeah, I think so. I think they've got a good enough pass rush. Yeah. I think if you would have that, if that were to be the case, that would be based off the strength of their pass rush. But guess what? You've got to stop the run to get in pass rushing situations. And that was a big reason why they haven't forced as many takeaways as you would expect. Remember, that Mike McDonald defense, not that there was any expectation that they would be every bit as good as Baltimore was last season, but Baltimore led the league in takeaways, led the league in sacks, and allowed the fewest points in the NFL. So the so-called triple crown of defense. Well, you can't. Your pass rush is really going to be limited by it's a lot of that is dependent on how well you stop the run on early downs, and thus how good of a job you do of putting offenses in those pure passing situations when those pass rushers can really tee off, like G was talking about, put their hand in the dirt, not knowing that the run game is not coming, knowing that they don't have to worry about the threat of a run, where they can just, again, pin their ears back and really get after the quarterback. So if they do that over the second half of the season, if they are, a top 10 defense, it's going to be based on the strength of that pass rush. But again, you got to stop the run like they did in that game last week in order to put your pass rushers in the best possible situations.
All right. Well, we would have liked to have talked to Michael Bumpus, but unfortunately we had some connection issues. But we had plenty to get there with the realistic goals for the rest of the season. So that wraps up our show today. Thank you so much for filling in for Brock and Salk today, Brady. You did double duty.
You bet. Thanks for having me. That was fun. You guys make it easy. You guys do a great job out there in the other room.
Do you want to say it?
Well,
I'll say it.
I'll say this. We got one text from Aaron in Vancouver. By the way, Brady, thanks for correcting Brock on his verbiage. Sounds like you have a future in radio. I mean, that's basically the gold standard. No sports and make fun of Brock to be on this show.
Well, I've got a future in journalism. I'm going to stick to my day job, but it is fun coming in here and talking Seahawks with you guys. I really appreciate it.
You want to say it?
Yeah, you got to tee me up, though.
All right, that's it. See you, everybody.
No, you got to say it.
The hay.
It's in the barn.
Get to the chopper!
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Bump, we are going to look at the remaining games for the Seahawks, 8 remaining games, and figure out which of these are, quote, winnable. Are the Cardinals a winnable opponent?
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is a matchup you can win.
I think there is a road where we enter a Sunday night football game against the Packers, and they're still just hovering around 500, feeling okay. Within those 4 games are 2 wins and the possibility of sweeping the Cardinals.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's comedian Tom Segura at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center.